We had quite an adventure just starting out right now. So I tried to open the wine bottle, and I pushed the cork all the way in.
Hey. Yeah.
So, and then wine splashed all over the place.
And then she started licking it off. Like,
Yeah,
she didn't want to waste any of it, so she
Yeah.
started licking the table. And... Oh, just kidding. That would have been funny.
I think
That would have been
I think
desperate.
that sounds like something I might have done a long time ago. Anyways, how's your week going?
I just feel like the weeks are going by really fast lately.
Oh my God. Seriously? I'm getting chewed the fuck up by all these
Ants.
mosquitoes. No.
Oh, mosquitoes? I'm getting ants.
And mosquitoes.
Yeah, my ankles have ant bites all over them.
No, mosquitoes. I can't even go outside. I'm doing the chicken dance in my backyard while I'm watering the grass.
I wonder what you could do about that. I'm not getting... My neighbors will complain about mosquitoes. I have a pool. I never have mosquitoes.
I don't know where they're coming from.
But
I
my
checked,
neighbors all
like the
get
whole
'em.
perimeter of the house to see if there was standing water. The last time that we talked about this, there was. I did find standing water, but I don't think there is in my yard.
Yeah.
So I think it's the neighbors.
Yeah. I have so many chemicals in my pool. There, you could see all the dead bugs laying on top of my pool.
Do you have lavender in your yard? Maybe.
No.
Somebody told me like buy lavender.
But I don't have
lemon balm.
I don't have hardly any vegetation in my yard.
Right. Anyways,
I don't know what you could use.
I continue to be chewed up.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. So if anybody has any ideas, I guess they could
Yeah.
let you know.
Let me know. And also, my hubby's been out of town this week. It's been interesting. So I'm flying out to meet him tomorrow, and that's giving me a little bit of
Speaking
anxiety.
of mosquito, it's right there on your
Oh
mic.
my God.
It's on your microphone.
I can't even open. That's another thing. I can't even open the door without the mosquitoes coming in. It's been all this rain we've
I
had.
get moths, crickets.
A lot of bugs.
I have the moths and the crickets. Pretty soon the spiders.
We definitely have a little ecosystem going on because of all the rain.
There it is. Get it. Is it a mosquito or is that just a little gnat?
It's a gnat. Okay, guys. So you guys are going to hear like every 5 minutes here.
I just got the dog excited.
We just bought a king bed. Or actually a California king bed. And then 2 days later, my husband leaves.
And you think you're going to have a whole bunch of
I think I'm going to have the whole bed to myself. But no.
No.
I'm still sleeping like on the edge of this giant ass bed because of these dogs. My aunt's like, I don't know why you put up with those dogs. Get rid of them. I love my dogs.
Yeah.
But they're not normal dogs. They are pandemic babies because they were born last year. So, like, I've had dogs my whole life. All the rules have gone out the window.
Yeah.
I've never had 3 siblings before.
Yeah.
And apparently that's an issue. What?
I'm taking her
Oh, I know.
eventually.
Well, you're going to have her for a whole week.
I know. Let's just hope. The good thing is, if eventually I get to take her, she'll still be coming over and be with her siblings and you guys, like on a regular,
Right.
because she'll go where I go.
Yeah, she loves them.
So hopefully, we're just gonna put that out there that she's.
She knows we're talking about it
Yes,
because her
her
tail
little
is
tail.
just like wagging, slamming against
She
the
needs
rug
to
over
come
here.
with me, and then that'll alleviate some of the dog pressure. And you know that she's like where she should be. She's my soul dog.
She is your soul dog. You guys have like an eye that's exactly the same.
I know, isn't that
Isn't
weird?
that so weird? Like they have, what is that called when you have the little like
Streak in
dot in the colored part of your eye?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. She's got like this little,
It's a gift.
maybe,
The little kiss from God.
could be. I wonder what that is. I wonder what it means.
It means that her and I are supposed to be together. We really have had a special bond since she was born.
Yeah, she loves you. She goes nuts when Carlene. Well, they all do.
All the dogs do.
Yeah, they all do.
But she used to even third eye. Remember her when she would third eye me? Just sit there with her forehead. I'd be like, we're just bonding.
You want to talk about your little
She just
experience?
keeps looking up at me.
Your meditating experience. You want to tell everybody about that?
I caught some EVPs on my video camera while I was meditating. The crazy thing is, I used to, like, the kids would go to school and I would do these really long meditations that would last for hours.
Wow.
And that day, the other day, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I don't have anything going on, and that is work. It has to do with my work, so I shouldn't feel guilty for having a long meditation.
Right.
So I'm just going to do it because I just kept feeling like I needed a long meditation.
Right.
So I made myself comfortable and put in my earphones, my little earbuds, and went to La La Land. And during it, I could hear things going on in my room, like somebody was in there. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe Shadow, who was sleeping next to me, had maybe crawled out and was eating her food or jumping on my makeup table or whatever.
Right.
And so I just stayed in my zone. And then I heard, hi, like that or whatever. And then I was like, every time I hear them talk to me, I get, or touch me or something, I get really excited. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt that. So I remember saying, I'm going to remain calm, stay in my zone. I heard you. And I'm telepathically telling them, I heard you. Who was that? Did somebody just say hi to me? And then after my meditation, I was like, holy crap, my camera was on. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it caught any of the stuff that was going on.
And it did.
And it did.
I totally was listening to it right before it's crazy.
It is really crazy.
I mean, it's short and sweet. Like
but they're loud.
But they're loud. Especially that one.
It vibrates my phone.
Hi. Like right in the microphone of the phone.
It's crazy.
It's a little crazy. I thought it was cool.
It's very cool. But anyway. So then I texted you after I reviewed it and was like, okay, we need to get that fancy dancy camera of yours. Do a little ghost hunt at my house.
Can I tell you something about meditation for me right now? So like full disclosure to everybody out there. I always joke about being ADD. Mm-hmm. I am ADD. I have been for a long time, but I've just recently started taking medication. Mm-hmm. I can't meditate. It's like like if I meditate, I have to do it before I even take my pill.
I wondered about that. If people, because I always say a lot of people who do what I do, I think are diagnosed with, or kids that have these gifts are diagnosed with ADD. Right. And I'm like, please don't medicate your kid. Just get them direction.
But
for
sometimes it's needed. Sometimes
if it's truly ADD.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm like, there's times that people will be like, okay, you have ADD. And I'm like, I don't. I just have spirit.
Right.
And so I can totally be in this conversation with you. Right. But I can also know what's going on over here and know what's going on over here. And there's like 10 other beings
which I cannot.
Talking to me. Right.
Like I could be at a dinner table with a group of friends and everybody's talking across the table and I shut down because I can't focus on one conversation. I'm trying to listen to everything because I can't shut out everything else. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm open to all of it. So like I can be having lunch with you at a restaurant and I could hear what's going on in even though I know I'm in our conversation, I can repeat to you everything, but I can also repeat to you what the people over here are saying. And I'd be like, oh, hang on. That is blah, 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 blah. It drives my family crazy, but I'm like, it's just what I do.
See, I can't do that. I can't filter things out. I've gone this long without having to take medication. I've had my own ways of dealing with it. Yeah. But because unfortunately I'm getting old.
Well, and you wanted to, it was kind of driving you crazy.
It was driving me crazy.
So you were like, I just need to see.
Right.
I was proud of you.
No, it's definitely helping. It's definitely helping. So because my hormones have been fluctuating, it messes with your AD. It's been on fire. It's been on fire. It's just like I've been a fucking hot mess, especially during last year, the pandemic. It just got 10 times worse. Yeah. Like foggy brain, like just not being able to focus on one thing. And I have like my hand in like a million pots. So like we've got this, we've got our business, my husband and I, you know, there's the kids. And then last year I was trying to do the whole the project thing and I just couldn't, like, I just had to drop something. So this year I'm trying to start it up again. So I was like doing so much better. Like I can focus.
But you can't meditate.
But I can't meditate so I have to figure out a time really early in the morning to do it. Which
well, I mean, there's different ways to meditate.
Yeah.
It could just be when you're in the shower and you're letting the water run over your forehead.
That's my way of meditating or watering the yard. Anytime water is running. Yeah. It's like always around water. But can't do that.
That's bizarre. Maybe I need to balance you out.
Maybe
you need some Carlene balance time.
Yeah, I need a boom shaka.
I mean, I don't have, I had a hysterectomy when I was right after Allie, so 30. But I'm pretty sure I went through early menopause. But the only thing I get is this heat flashes. I think that's because I meditate. That's the only thing I ever get.
See, I'm not hot flashes are really not just every once in a while. I'll get them.
Well, you're just starting though.
I know. That's true. So we're drinking wine. What are we drinking? You brought this. Hook or Crook Cellars Field Blend.
It's actually
Lodi Reserve.
I wouldn't give the aroma a 10, but I'd give the taste, I don't know, a 7, 8.
You can
Pretty
hear
good high number.
So
spoon.
There's a spoon. There's a spoon in here because every time I tried to pour it, it was the cork was blocking it because the cork's inside.
The corkscrew thing pushed the cork in instead of.
Yeah, and every time I tried to pour it, the cork was trying to go block it again. So I had to throw a spoon in there. And so we're kind of special today.
Yeah, but special. Even now, it's had time to air, and the aroma still, it's just a strong alcohol.
So it tastes really good. The taste is yum, but maybe it's the shape of the cup, the glass, the way it's shaped, because it kind of is probably holding the gases.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't able to smell the cork. Yeah, I mean, it could be.
It's good. And our special glasses that Bianca gave us.
I love the sound. Listen.
I know, it's so melodic.
Wait,
you can hear PJ in the background. Listen.
There.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm.
And then I got this fruit bowl, mixed berries, and we threw them in there. So it's yum.
It's yum. It's like a dessert. Yeah,
anyways.
It's good wine though. Okay, so let's get started because I think this one's good too.
Yeah. So before we get started, our Patreon's still out there if you guys want to support us on Patreon. But like we've told you before, we have this I think it's coffee. I think you spell it.
I think it's coffee.
It's coffee. Coffee.com.
Because don't they use cup of coffee as a thing? Yeah.
So if you want to buy us a cup of coffee on coffee.com, it's ko-fi.com/Tipsy Tales Podcast. It's one and done.
Cheaper. It's the same as a small cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get started. All right, so the topic we chose for today, because it's technically, I guess it's fall. Is it fall yet?
No, but it will be in September, right?
Okay, because everybody's already
21st,
breaking out with the pumpkin spice.
What? I know they're doing it really early.
Everywhere I'm going, there's Halloween candy already.
When does fall start? September 22nd. I thought it was the 21st.
Okay, so it's right around the corner. I mean, here in Arizona, especially Phoenix,
it really never starts.
The leaves don't start falling off my mulberry until
November,
December.
October. Oh
no, the end of December.
I mean, lately we haven't even had cold Decembers.
No, I am super thankful that we've had a really good wet season, a wet summer, even though it's been humid and we have all the bugs. But we needed it because
this humidity has been awful, though. Yeah. I can't go outside. I'm like, melting.
I'm melting.
I'm like, the sweat's burning my eyes.
Hey, that's our segue into our topic.
My pretty.
I did put on Instagram the different witch movies that are out there.
Oh. Sure, smart. Was that like a clue?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a clue. One of them was Witches of Eastwick. The other one was Practical Magic.
I mean, even The Wizard of Oz would be a good witch
technically one.
Do you know what I watched? The Salem Witch Trials. I watched with Kirstie Alley was in it. It's a 3-hour movie, but it's really good.
What is it called? Salem
Witch Trial.
Oh, I think I remember it.
Yeah, because I was like, I just want to brush up on some stuff and kind of want to, and I wasn't going to, but I was just trying to get some ideas. But it was good. Freaky, crazy. And in the end, you know, because it was, that movie itself was, they tried to do based on actual events.
Did you see my post?
I don't think so.
Okay, so yeah, it was Hocus Pocus was number 1. It was like asking everybody what their favorite one is.
Uh-huh.
And then it was Practical Magic was number 2. And then The Craft, number 3. And Witches of Eastwick. My favorite is Practical Magic.
Oh, I would have responded to this, darn it. Did we get, yes, love them. Of course. So, of course, Philip, he said number 4.
Oh,
whatever
did he?
that is, yeah.
Okay.
I see.
Witches of Eastwick.
People gave 4s,
Okay.
numbers. Oh, Hocus Pocus. My daughter-in-law and Allie, they like that one, too.
Yeah, I love Hocus Pocus, but I love, my favorite out of all of them is Practical Magic with Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock.
Yes.
That's my favorite. I can watch that over
that one,
and
too.
over and over again.
Anything with those two in it, I can watch over and over, but yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, too. Sorry, I got
What's your favorite?
That one, and what are the choices again? I like Hocus Pocus.
Witches of Eastwick and The Craft.
Yes. Okay. No, number 4. Yeah, number 4.
Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was good. I used to love that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you want me to start or do you want to start? It doesn't
You can
really
start
matter.
because you might have more of a background than I do. I didn't write much background.
Okay.
I just have something. I have an interesting part.
You do. Because I listened to a little bit about her because
Yeah.
once you told me, I looked it up because I just wanted to kind of have a frame
Yeah.
of reference. I decided not to do both of the ones that I told you. I decided to go with the one that was less of a fictional character.
Okay. I just did this one, and then I did add something very interesting that I found.
Uh-huh.
In case you don't say it, then I'm like, oh, I'm saying it.
Okay. All right. So we've talked, we've done other podcasts over the years on different witches out there. We've done the Bell Witch. We've done the
Right.
Salem Witch Trials. We've even done the Navajo Skinwalkers or the Yenaldushi.
Yeah, I need to watch about that because I didn't.
My brother's best friend was Navajo. And we grew up with a bunch of Navajo kids.
I lived with a Navajo girl. She never said anything about
Oh my
skinwalkers.
God. They used to tell us stories about being on the reservation. Because they go back and forth all the time because they've got family up there in Tuba City. They told us they used to scare the freaking shit out of us with the stories that they would tell us about the
No,
reservation.
I never heard any of it.
And then we just did Julia Brown.
Right.
So this story has a lot of parallels with Julia Brown, I feel like. And you'll notice when I get to those. Most stories out there in mythologies about witches seem to be primarily about women, but there
Right.
are men witches out there.
I think they warlocks.
Yeah, they're called warlocks or wizards. Yeah.
There were not as many though. They would target the women.
Yeah. No, and the men witches or wizards, whatever, a lot of times they seem to have kings will use them as their advisors.
Yes.
In these times.
Merlin.
Yeah. And there's others out there.
Yeah. Well, they would use them. Yeah, like astrologists, and they would use them for all kinds of crazy stuff. They were more credible. They weren't witches.
Yeah. So I run across this in articles where they talk about a lot of the sentiment towards women witches seems to be very misogynistic because they were afraid of powerful women that spoke their mind. And there's a lot of these stories of actual witches out there where these women actually are not afraid of men. They speak their mind.
No, well,
them.
that's how mine is.
And that's this one too. She seems to be like that.
Yeah, she's she was a very progressive feminist, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, there are many different types of witches out there. There's traditional witches, hedge witches, elemental witches, hereditary witches, ceremonial witches, white witches, black witches. The list goes on.
I've been called a white witch.
Have you? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
I'm not a white witch. I'm just not a witch.
But
I mean, and some people would consider me
if you
a
lived
witch.
back in the day, you probably would
I'd be hung I'd be burned.
or you would have been considered a witch.
Yeah.
Because of your
I'm
talent.
a witch.
Because this one that I'm about to talk about, well, I know you don't really deal in futures, but she had a lot of prophetic stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I always tell people. I don't not do future. It's amazing how many times we do future. I just don't tell people because I don't want people thinking they could come and get a future reading. Does that make sense? It's just if it's for your greater good, Spirit will say something.
Right.
And they almost always do.
And in the end, we always have free will.
Yeah, because you can change it.
Yeah.
But like I have a client in New Mexico who just recently, I told her 2 years ago about her grandfather and some ailments. And she was like, no, he's fine. I'm like, just write it down anyway. I can't dismiss it. Just write it down anyway. And so she wrote it down. And then 2 years later, all those ailments happened.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then it's just Spirit's way. It's not like we can prevent it.
Right.
They're just why do they give us this to prepare so we can get it's their way of saying like, hey, I'm just letting you know this is going to happen. I want to prepare you for it.
Right.
I mean, that's a nice gift to have.
Right.
Anyway, I tell people don't just count what I'm saying because sometimes it's a future. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
While I was doing the research, like we normally think of like persecution of witches being like a horrible relic of the past, but apparently it's happening now in many places around the world. So like I just thought I'd throw that out there. Like it's literally happening. What's happening?
Wait till I do my story.
Oh my God.
I won't be able to talk.
This is strong. And I've barely been drinking, so like I'm super lightweight right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody's like, no, Alma, you just can't articulate.
The modern day.
Oh yeah. So anyways, so like I guess like, and I'm not really even like naming them all, but certain regions of Africa, Asia, India, and even as close as Brazil.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Even here.
Right. Even here.
If they even think you
but
are.
not to that level anymore.
No. But I mean,
it's ugly.
Yeah. I could see that, especially in places like Africa or India. If it's a little different from what they're used to thinking, I could see it getting, that's witchcraft.
Right.
I could see that.
And I think it just like comes from like fear of the unknown, ignorance, even like religion. Religion is, we could go there. We could jump on our soapbox here, but we're not. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Who I chose to do mine on was Mother Shipton, a.k.a. Ursula, Southel, or Sonthel, or even Soothtel.
These are all her different names?
Well, I think they're different ways of pronouncing it over the years, but Soothtel seems to be the most apt because it's like sooth-teller.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, she was the most famous for her prophesying abilities. She was born at 15. Oh, wait. Not born at 15.
Wow. Ooh, that's a big one. She came out walking.
She was born to 15-year-old.
Walking, cursing, and drinking.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be horrible. Imagine having a 15-year-old.
Well, like, Connor was just about
full-blown 15-year-old.
I used to joke Connor was going to come out walking.
Jeez.
With his legs dangling from me.
One of my best friends, and I'm just going to put this out there, like, it's not my story to tell, but she is in the hospital dealing with the effects of COVID. Like, she's been there for a whole month. So, like, if you guys want to put some prayers out there, like, whatever you do, good vibes, prayers, whatever is your thing, like, I think it's all comes out the same in the wash.
Hey, prayers definitely work. Yeah. It raises that vibration, and they hear it, and obviously you heard the EVPs in my room.
Yeah.
But it works. It really does.
Yeah. So yeah, she needs those. She's like, where am I even going? I lost track of that whole thing. Oh, her son was born with a milk tooth. He was like 10 pounds.
Oh, he had a tooth. Oh, what?
Yeah, he was 10 pounds. He was like a full-blown toddler, and he came out with the tooth.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
All right. So we were talking about Agatha Soothtail. Oh wait.
No.
We're talking about Mother Shipton.
Right.
Her mother is Agatha Soothtail. She was 15 when she gave birth to her. in a cave outside of Yorkshire in a town called Knaresborough in 1488.
Damn.
There was a violent storm going on. And when she was born, she was said to be deformed and ugly.
Oh.
Hunchbacked with bulging eyes. But
That's
I don't
terrible.
know. I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is conjecture. You know, like the whole telephone thing.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. And it is said that she cackled instead of crying.
Stop
when
it.
she was born. And as she did, the raging storm just ceased.
Ooh.
Ooh, very spooky.
Let's say that all happened because it makes for the better story.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I knew you were going to say that. It's difficult with stories like this to separate the fact from fiction, but I'm sure like the detail I'm about to share, some details are easier than others to separate. Agatha, like I said, she's just 15. She's poor. She's desolate.
This is her mom.
Yeah.
The mom. Okay.
Apparently, according to oh my God.
Stories? Apparently, according to the
Shorty,
stories.
I'm not talking to you. We're talking about stories.
Storty. That's such a good storty. I love it. This wine's so yummy. That's a good storty.
Wow, I haven't felt this good in months. Anyways, the story is she did the dirty with the devil, which seems to be a running theme with witches.
Okay.
According, like, I think that's the propaganda, like that the church is like, she had relations with the devil.
Yeah, well, in the Salem witch trials, they all confess to fornicating with the devil. Mm-hmm. My story will also include that.
Yeah.
So
other versions say Agatha was a witch and that she summoned the devils
but
to
what they're
conceive a child.
saying is Agatha had sex with the devil and procreated
and had Mother Shipton. Yeah.
Aha.
Mother Shipton, a.k.a. Ursula. At this time, she's Ursula.
Even. Okay.
Ursula.
That's even better. And so
hey,
she's
wasn't the
part
sea witch and
yes.
Little
Interesting,
Mermaid?
right?
Okay. All right.
Okay, so she's part Agatha's and part the devil, supposedly. Okay, I gotcha. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's on the same page.
Baby daddy is the devil.
And Athena's running. She's running
in her
from
dream.
it.
In her dream. Is her little feet moving? Run. All right. So anyways, her true father's really unknown because Agatha? I'm changing everybody's name in this story.
I'm so excited that you're doing this because mine has some really hard things in it. So
Agatha is not even hard.
No, but that's why I'm excited. Because I plan on letting the computer do some talking.
What was...
Samantha.
What was her mom's name?
Agatha, I think.
Wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's right.
So.
Okay. What was the name of it? Bewitched.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites.
I still watch it.
Yeah. I got it in reruns. I loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the true father's unknown because Agatha refused to reveal him. Literally, she was dragged before the magistrate and interrogated. Oh my God. We are just going downhill here, people. I am so sorry. But we are Tipsy Tales, so you know how it goes. Sometimes we're worse than others. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons why women don't disclose who the father is. I mean, the least of which is it could be a relative or a person of influence, a married man.
Exactly.
You never know. She's 15.
Well, yeah.
She's a baby.
Intimidated.
She's a baby herself.
Right. And it could be with somebody in that village.
Could be a priest. You never know.
It could be like a Romeo and Juliet type thing where it's with an opposing family, and if she says who it is, she could get in trouble by her. Whatever.
Of course, when people don't know things, they start making shit up, and so the town starts making their own thing up. They're like, "Oh yeah, she lives in a cave." At this point, they think she is a witch, so she must have consorted with the devil.
Yeah.
So they draw their own conclusions.
Of course they do. I mean, listen, there's no TV or anything. They have nothing else to do.
Right, yeah.
They're bored out of their mind.
I mean,
Rumor mill goes.
We were in a pandemic and people fucking lost their minds and started fucking doing the whole conspiracy theory shit. So, come on. Even in the modern days, people are, gonna, make shit up. Yeah. Right? Right. Okay. All right. So the scandal led to the mother and daughter being ostracized, and they lived for some time in the cave Ursula was born in.
That's so sad.
More on that cave later. The fact that the cave also has a skull-shaped pool rumored to turn things into stone didn't really help all the rumors.
Oh my.
That they were both witches. The cave is known today as Mother Shipton's cave. Though the effects of
Where's
the caves,
it at?
It's in Yorkshire, in this town. It's in this town that I was talking about.
I wish we could travel there.
One of these days.
Yeah.
One of these days.
Okay, we're putting it out there.
Okay.
Universe.
Well, I would love to just do all of England, Scotland, especially Scotland for me.
Scotland. Ireland, I would love.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd even love to do Germany.
I'd like to do Croatia.
Spain. Yes.
Just because that's where, but it's so pretty too.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Cave is known today as Mother Shipton's Cave. And then I told you about though the effects of the cave's pool are not those of true petrification, they closely resemble the process by which stalactites are formed, coating the objects left in the cave with layers of minerals.
Interesting.
Yeah. And in essence, hardening the porous objects until they become hard and stone-like. So
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
well,
it's
the
back in the
story's
day.
more fun.
Yeah. 2 years later, the abbot of Beverly takes them from the cave. He puts Agatha in a convent and Ursula with a foster family, and the two never see each other again.
That is bullshit.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I feel like he was trying to help them because he feels like they're living, well, maybe.
Separating them?
The conventions of the time, he probably felt it was improper for women living in a cave. In his way, maybe he thought that he was helping them.
All right.
A baby living in a cave.
Maybe.
They were, living in poverty. But yeah, maybe he wasn't. If you could see her rolling her eyes drinking her wine right now. Other than her adoptive family and a few friends, Ursula is still ostracized by most of the town. So she spends a lot of time in the woods, not unlike her mother, learning of plants and herbs and medicinal properties of them.
I was just going to say, I bet she got into herbs and stuff.
Yeah, so that's kind of like Julia Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing. So one of the stories out there was that one day when her foster mother returns from running errands, leaving Ursula alone, she left Ursula alone, and when she returns, the door is wide open. So she freaks out. She calls the neighbors, of course, that's what you do in medieval times when the door's open to your little cottage out in wherever the fuck it is. And the neighbors all come and help her check. I think she's just I'm raising this child that's possibly a witch. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's my
What the fuck was
feeling.
she thinking?
Yeah.
Either somebody kidnapped it or something.
Or this is just a story that got made up.
Right.
The neighbors come to help her check it out, and they claim to hear a loud and shrill wailing coming from the house, described as 1,000 cats in consort.
Come on.
So imagine 1,000 cats fucking outside of your bedroom window.
I don't have to imagine it. I have one cat.
Oh my God.
I mean, you all heard it last time.
That would be a freaky sound, if true, which I doubt if that's even true.
Yeah.
That would be a freaky sound.
Yeah.
So anyways, in the house, Ursula's cradle is empty, and after searching the house, foster mama looks up, and what does she see? Ursula, naked as a jaybird, cackling, supposedly perched on top of an iron bar. Where the pot hooks were fastened above the fireplace.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's just not probably true.
Yeah, but it's fun. Let's just pretend like it's
fun.
Is.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it makes a good story.
Yeah. What if it is true?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I'd love to see that in a movie.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so then there's another story. So all these chief members of the parish, they gather together for a meeting in some rich guy's house, probably. Ursula walks by during the meeting, minding her own damn business, running an errand, when the shitty men that are present decide to shout hagface at her and devil's bastard. She just keeps going. She keeps walking. She doesn't say anything. But when the men sit down and continue their
no.
meeting, supposedly the ruff of the neck of one of the main guys transforms into a toilet seat and claps around his neck. The guy next to him busts out laughing.
Yeah.
And he's immediately changed into a chamber pot. Which, if you don't know what a chamber pot is, it's basically where you took a shit and pissed.
Yeah.
Where the word, I don't have a pot to piss in,
comes from.
The owner of the house rushes in to see what all the fuss is about. He can't get through the door because he's all of a sudden sprouted horns.
Oh my God.
Out of his head that prevent him from going through the door. And then, just like that, they went back to the way it was. Everything just was like disappeared, and the townspeople decided to stop fucking with Ursula.
Oh.
So,
well, good for them.
Who knows if that really happened?
Or they drank some funky tea.
Yes.
Had some funky mushrooms in it.
Or
herbs.
They had some, what
Herbs.
is it called? The rice is contaminated by ergot.
Ergot?
Yeah. Ergot? Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, that makes them hallucinate.
Yeah.
They have like some mass hallucination. Who knows?
I don't know.
Much like Julia Brown, she becomes indispensable to the town because of her knowledge of herbs, and she starts to gain respect as an herbalist. She couldn't have been that hideous because she marries a guy named Toby Shipton when she's 24 years old. And from then forward, she's known as Mother Shipton.
Oh, that's where that came from?
Yeah. Then 2 years later, Toby dies in 1514. And of course, who's to blame for that? Huh?
I think somebody's playing with my hair. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
So, go ahead. Can you repeat
Find out
that?
who it is. Find out who it is. And of course, the town thinks that it's Mother Shipton.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So, in her grief, because the people of the town are complete assholes about it, she moves into the woods to the cave where she was born.
Poor thing.
So 24 to 5. She's probably 26 at this point. Okay, so then she starts prophesying.
Ursula?
Yeah.
Okay.
The prophecy starts. Yeah.
Prophesizing?
Prophesying?
Prophesizing? Prophesizing. I don't
Prophesying.
know. Okay. I don't know how it's said. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Prophecies started
You're
small.
usually right.
I don't know right now. Prophecies? This is great. I'm going to catch a plane. I'm going to have a hangover. I didn't think this through.
No.
All right. Prophecies started small, centering on the small town she lived in, but then they became bolder and she started prophesying. Oh, okay. Prophesying about the monarchy and even the future of the world.
Ooh.
In 1537, King Henry VIII wrote a letter to the Duke of Norfolk.
Norfolk?
I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think so.
Norfolk?
No, I think
Norfolk?
Norfolk. No, I think you're right. Norfolk.
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 I put probably too much emphasis on the K.
On the fuck part?
Yeah. Where he mentions a witch of York, widely believed to be a reference to Shipton. Okay. So talk about some of the prophecies before. One of them was, this is a quote, before Ouse Bridge and Trinity Church meet, what is built in the day shall fall in the night, till the highest stone in the church be the lowest stone of the bridge.
Interesting.
So, not long after uttering these words, a huge storm falls over York. The steeple on top of Trinity Church fell, and a portion of the Ouse Bridge was swept away by water. When repairs were made to the bridge, pieces of the steeple were used as the foundation of the bridge. So, when she
predicted that. The stone of
till the
step.
highest stone on the church be the lowest stone on the bridge.
Yeah, oh, right. Okay. Lowest stone on the bridge. I was picturing a step.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are your ears so cold?
And then another one, which this one was more political, and these are the days of King Henry VIII.
Yeah.
When the cow doth ride the bull. Isn't it the bull that's supposed to ride the cow?
Oh, look at him. Oh, girl. That was so cute. Did you see him like?
Yeah,
totally
He's such a cutie. He's such a baby. He's a baby.
Could you give me some love? Oh.
He is the child.
His breath is really bad, but he is sweet. Oh, such a good boy.
All right. When the cow doth ride the bull, let's try this again. Then priest beware the skull. And when the lower shrubs do fall, the great trees quickly follow shell. The mitred peacock's lofty cry shall to his master be a guide. And one great court to pass shall bring what was never done by any king. The poor shall grieve to see that day, and who did feast must fast and pray. Fate so decreed their overthrow, riches brought pride, and pride brought woe.
Oh.
So we can break down a little bit of that. It's basically talking about King Henry VIII.
Oh, careful.
Most of it, and we'll get into the other part of it. When Mother Shipton would have visions of specific people, she wouldn't see faces or names. But family heraldry, the cow mentioned represents the heraldry of Henry VIII, and the bull represents Anne Boleyn. So you know who Anne Boleyn is. King Henry VIII,
right.
Anne Boleyn.
Right. Okay.
So Mother Shipton is marking the beginning of her prophecy to the marriage of King Henry VIII to Anne Boleyn. Because the church refused to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, he broke with them and declared himself supreme head of the Church of England. Remember?
Ooh, right.
Many priests, both religious and secular, lost their lives fighting laws made to limit the Catholic Church's power. So that would kind of like go in with the when the cow doth ride the bull, then priest beware. No, he's outside and he's getting really loud. It's just him. Then priest beware the skull. And when the lower shrubs do fall, the great trees quickly follow shell. Anyways, okay,
Interesting.
So I just put this in here. I love when I connect the dots to our stories to movies or shows that I have watched, and I love all anything that's on Anne Boleyn, movies about Queen Elizabeth.
I love those. And
just recently finished watching The Spanish Princess on Starz.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Which is another series like The White Queen, The White Princess. They're all based on books by Philippa Gregory. Anyways, the mitred peacock's lofty cry shall to his master be a guide. So this is said to refer to Thomas Wolsey, which is fresh in my memory from The Spanish Princess still. And all of those other ones. He's in most of like Queen Elizabeth and all that. Was he? No, he was already gone by Queen Elizabeth. But the Anne Boleyn stuff. No, he was gone.
Have you watched like the Tudors and stuff like that? Yes, you have to watch all those too.
The son of a butcher, he rose up to become the chancellor and then a cardinal of the Catholic Church.
Maybe you and I did live another life. Maybe we... Is this it?
No, what, no?
Uh-oh. Maybe we did live a life before because we both like are super into the same things with that day and age.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where it be?
Uh-oh. Her story's over. I'm just kidding. Did you hear the mic?
Yeah, just like right now when I did this, I think when I clicked on this right now. Let me read the rest of this. I'm going to do like you and be on my computer to do this.
It makes it easier for me. Oh, he is letting you know now.
He is like, let me in this house.
That was a let me in the fucking house, bitch.
What happened to the rest of my story?
Uh-oh.
It literally cut it off on here. I mean, there wasn't very much more. Basically.
Are you able to look it up on there? So
yeah, I can. Okay, so a lot of the prophecies that are out there that are attributed to Mother Shipton, they think that some of them came later, many hundreds of years later. Some were even written in the 1800s. Since my story was cut off, I can't give you the author of that, but there was one guy who basically admitted to lying because he basically like wrote all these prophecies, put them out there, and he ended up admitting that a lot of them were like considered to be fabrications by this guy. And then not only that, but as the years, like even right after, is it still doing? Even after she dies,
Yeah.
there's some publications that are out there that like, you know, put her prophecies out there.
Ooh, now I want to go and see.
Yeah. And a lot of them, like that guy that, oh my God, what is his name? Wrote those untrue prophecies. He basically, there was one about the end of the world. It was supposed to be like, I think it was like, first it was 1871. Then it was, later on it was revised to be like 1971. And then all of a sudden it turned into 1981. And then a lot of the prophecies that are out there also seem to become retroactive depending on the politics of the day. So conveniently, they were like turning her words around to scare people.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, but she was a real person, and apparently she died in her own bed.
Oh.
And I think she was like she was in her 80s, late 80s.
Wow. So she probably had gifts, and they got twisted and turned.
Yeah. There was another thing about Wolsey that I did write down. God, this is making me so that's so weird. Like literally, like it just printed out the last page blank. But I think he had it out for her because her prophecies were so. Like if you think about King Henry VIII, like think about what was happening at that time. Like he was pissed off because they wouldn't annul his marriage to Catherine. And so then he ends up separating from the Catholic Church, which no other king had done before that. And he ended up becoming the head of the Church of England. So
people were like, he's making up his own religion by doing that.
Yeah. And a lot of her prophecies were about that. So anyways, Wolsey is a Catholic priest. And before all of this transpires, he's like moved his way up the ladder. And he's very like, and he's represented like, especially in Catherine, this movie about the Spanish princess. He's super ambitious. All of a sudden he becomes very rich. Like he came from lowliness and he ends up being one of the most powerful men.
Damn.
And he's said to have influenced King Henry. Like he manipulates him. Like he's depicted in Catherine and the Spanish princess as being very manipulative and behind the scenes, and he plays on his emotions and stuff, and so that's the way they depict him. But he was an alternate king. Alter Rex. So like the alternate king.
Wow.
Basically, because he was so powerful, and so the prophecy calls him the mitered peacock. So mitered is when you like fuse two things together, like, and a peacock. When you think of a peacock as somebody like showing off their shit. So that's why he got pretty pissed off.
He's exactly what I warn people of.
Yeah.
That do what I do, that I'll say, just because they're good at selling books and talking to people and being peacocks. Yeah. doesn't mean that they're right.
Right.
So that's exactly, he was good at being a salesperson and a con artist, really. Right. Interesting.
So he's got it out for her, pretty much saying that what she's doing is treason, like that her prophesying about him is treason. Like this is how up on a pedestal that he thinks he is. But at this point, he's falling out of favor with the king because he failed to get the Pope to annul his marriage. So the king is like, I mean, King Henry VIII is known as being a very finicky guy.
I think I saw that in another series I was watching.
Yeah.
And they depicted something like that.
Yeah. Right. So he fell out of favor pretty quickly. So he basically, she basically says, he says, I'm coming to York or whatever, something like that. And she's like, you'll never set foot in York. So on his way down there, he ends up getting arrested.
Oh my.
And on the journey back to London, he ends up dying.
Oh.
I think he gets sick and dies, but her prophecy came true. And that's one of her most famous prophecies, which is pissing me off that I can't read you the actual prophecy. Damn it. It's okay. It's all right. It's cutting me short because you need to tell your story. I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
That is a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow. So it's like one of those things where you're separating fact from fiction.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I think she's pretty badass on her own without, like, They like characterize her as having like a crook nose.
Yeah, like making her look like a witch.
Like, yeah, that's
Like
when the whole caricature of a witch really came into play. Yeah. So she probably didn't even look like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Something's telling me she didn't. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you picked it. I see why you wanted to pick that one. That was a good one. All right. Well, glasses on. So the first thing I'm gonna skip something for a second because I'm super excited to say this. Well, okay, I'll start reading how I actually wrote my story. The first thing I realized, so mine's on Isobel Gowdie.
I'm excited for this.
Me too.
She's like the queen witch.
She was like one of the first ones to like, because hers was so unusual because she didn't have to be tortured to confess.
Right.
So the first thing I realized though with her is how sex is so prevalent with the practice and condemning of witches. Everything's about sex. Like,
Misogyny.
yes, exactly. And like, so yeah, if you watch the Salem witch trials, which we talked about this with your story, and then, and now her story gets really pornographic, actually.
It's okay.
Anyway, many describe her simply as just one of the first very progressive feminist and spiritualist. So if you go back and you read a lot about her, I could have done a whole lot, but there's a lot of people that talk about she was so progressive that like maybe she wasn't a witch at all, but she was just very progressive.
Right.
And so she was like maybe just one of the first feminists and
Except for the whole
intimidating them. The what?
Do you think the confession was real?
I mean, it's very detailed. I have it on here.
Okay.
I'll read it and let you guys decide. Okay. But I think that was just very intimidating to them. Oh, okay. Hold on.
Right.
So this particular thing that I was writing from had said like during the 1300s and 1700s, women's sexuality was viewed as an abomination. It was way even after the 1700s,
right,
and way before the 1300s.
Right.
So, I don't know where they got that number. I wrote it down anyway because it was women's sexuality. If a woman got caught fondling herself, that was like, you are fingering yourself.
You're consorting with the devil.
You're masturbating to the devil. Anyway.
Hey, there's people who think that today.
They still think that, seriously. So, did you know this? I never knew this. Where the writing on a broomstick came from? Witches writing on a broomstick.
Well, I feel like I'm cheating because I didn't
Did
know
you
this.
read it?
I like when I was listening to something on her.
Okay, on her. Okay. But yeah, so we're going to tell everybody.
Okay.
But anyway, so I got this from, it's called The Secret Sex Lives of Witches on bus.com. Mm-hmm. And so he wrote, author Michael Pollan gives perhaps the most detailed description of the alleged sexual connection between witches and their brooms in this particular book. I'm assuming Secret Lives of Witches, right?
I'm already getting hot and bothered. No.
As he tells it, midwives, herbalists, and ladies in the know, aka witches, would cultivate psychoactive agents, including Datra. Is that what it's called? Datur. Anyway, opium, poppies, belladonna, hashish, and even the skin of toads, which, if anybody knows, if you touch the skin of a toad, it's like toxic.
If you lick it, yeah.
Yeah. And
you
so,
get high.
Yeah, they would like get the skin.
Not recommended.
It's a hallucinogen, aka DMT. They say. That's what they say here. Anyway, these ingredients, they would combine them.
Oh, all of them?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's potent.
In a hemp seed oil based, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, all those weren't enough, and then you got to throw some hemp seed in there.
Right.
Okay.
You know, got to have a base ointment, I guess.
Right.
that they would administer vaginally with a dildo. And the best dildo is a broomstick.
Okay, that's not the story I heard.
That's what he writes.
Okay.
And he supposedly did a lot of investigating.
Okay.
What's he investigating? How did he investigate it?
What the fuck?
Anyway.
Actual fuck.
He writes, this was the broomstick by which all these women were said to travel.
Okay.
Other sources.
I'm thinking of a name for this episode, and it's going to have to do with broomsticks.
Yeah. The joys of a broomstick. Other sources, including
101 ways to fuck a broomstick.
I'm going to go get me a broomstick. Other sources, including...
Ouch, splinters.
Well, these days they have plastic ones. We don't need those these days. Historian William A. Imboden. So this guy's a historian.
Okay.
He confirms that this type of hallucinogen would best be absorbed into the body through the mucous membrane
Of your vagina. Hey, hence we now have tampons that have CBD oil in them to help with cramps.
Really?
Did you know that?
No. I'm out of
I'd love to try that.
I'm out of that world, so
Wow.
I don't know. But Allie, my daughter, I might have to tell her about that. What was that?
One of the dogs jumping at the door.
Oh, God, that's so scary sounding. Further explaining why the traditional image of a witch would depict her astride an ointment-coated broomstick.
What the fuck?
Because they got to get their vagina all over that ointment.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Isobel Gowdie's chant. So I'm not going to even say that part. I'm going to skip it because there's a better chant. Okay. There was this. No. I don't know if I want to say this one.
Is it sexual?
No.
Okay.
We're past that now.
Okay.
We know the broomstick thing. Anyway, 17th century Scotland had one of the highest rates of witchcraft persecution in Europe. Did you know that?
Yes.
And the trial of Isobel Gowdie is deemed one of the most important within this period.
I'm sure pretty thanks to King James and his mom, Mary Queen of Scots.
She's in here, yeah. The confessions of Isobel Gowdie are renowned worldwide as some of the most extraordinary and graphic descriptions of 17th century witchcraft and fairy belief. In 1662, Gowdie gave the first of four confessions witnessed by the minister of Aldearn, as well as local lairds and church elders. Her testimonies told of her taking on the guise of animals, cursing her enemies, running crops, as well as her rise to be Queen of the Coven. So there was this chant, and it was, I shall go into the hair with sorrow and psyche and meekle care.
Okay.
And I shall go in the devil's name. While I come home again. That's only one chant. There's another one in here.
Okay.
Anyway, that one, I guess, is so she can turn into the animals.
Yeah, I heard about the shape-shifting thing.
Yeah. Records provide no information. So basically, they don't know anything about her, really, except for she had really pretty fire red hair. Mm-hmm. They don't really know how old she was.
And to have red hair in those days was basically to be of the devil.
Right.
Or left-handed.
Yeah. And she was married to John Gilbert, and he didn't have any involvement in the witchcraft giddy-up. And for the most part...
Giddy up on the broomstick?
On the broomstick. For the most part, it was a normal life. Like, he was a laird to the farm, and they just had normal farm life, nothing weird going on.
Not even broomsticks in the bedroom?
Not even broomsticks.
Okay.
It was just a normal life. And
Sorry,
so...
I'm chewing on I'm not even, like, thinking about the fact that the microphone is right here. I'm like...
oh my.
I'm eating these strawberries out of the wine. Sorry.
Because she needs a little more alcohol. But anyway, they didn't really have much. They didn't even know her age, really. Some were guessing that she was 15, but then in her confession, she's like 15 years ago. So that none of it was making, the math didn't make sense. So she couldn't have been 15, blah, blah, blah. Because they were saying, this says, no detail available concerning her age. At the time of her trial in 1662, she may have been aged anywhere from 15, although this is unlikely, as she claimed to have participated in sexual activities 15 years before her confession.
Oh, wow.
Well into her 30s or 50s. But she was certainly of childbearing age, despite the fact there's no records of her having any children.
Okay.
Gowdie and her husband lived in an area around Lochloy, about 2 miles north of Aldern. Mm-hmm. In the 17th century, the sea loch was larger than it is now and surrounded by woodland, hills, and sand dunes. Gowdie and her husband, like I said, her husband was a farm laborer. I mean, they basically just had a normal life. He had a normal life anyway. According to Wilby, their lifestyle, I don't know who Wilby is, but according to him, whoever that is, their lifestyle and social status could be compared to the present-day developing countries, what does that mean? Unable to read or write. So she wasn't educated. But at the same time, she wasn't stupid at all. Right. Gowdie possessed a good imagination.
His nails.
Oh, is that what that is? Mm-hmm. She had a good imagination and the ability to express herself eloquently. Her daily life was spent in doing basic household chores and tasks like milking and making bread, weaving yarn, or weeding. Much like I live my life.
Yes. Weeding. I do a lot of weeding.
I do. The early... let me even see if I want to... Oh, okay. I think we do want to read this weeding. we are like 15-year-olds. The early modern period saw the Scottish courts trying many cases of witchcraft, and witch hunts began about 1550. I think it started earlier, but whatever. The Parliament of Mary Queen of Scots passed the Scottish Witchcraft Act in 1563, making convictions for witchcraft subject to capital punishment. Mary's son James wrote Demonology. And you know what's crazy? I did a story, I think, on him writing that book, I think.
Did you?
Far back. I wonder if it was when I did the blood, that lady that liked to bathe in the blood.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That kind of comes to mind. But I just remember talking about it.
Though. That's weird.
Okay, maybe not. I remember talking about somebody writing this book.
Okay.
Maybe
King James was pretty famous in his crusade against witches.
I mean, because Mary Queen of Scots was a part of that story.
What's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, in 1597, after his involvement with the North Berwick witch trials in 1590, and the Great Scottish Witch Hunt of 1597, a nationwide hunt that started in Aberdeen, in common with other European witch trials, major Scottish witch hunts occurred in batches. Historians offer differing opinions as to why. I'm reading this because it's going to have something to do with her, but anyway, historians offer differing opinions as to why this would happen, but generally agree that military hostilities and political, which you said, and economic uncertainty played a part, coupled with the local ministers.
Economic uncertainty.
Right?
Because, like when your crops are dying, who do you blame?
Well, they also, that's the same with the Vatican using the Bible to manipulate villages and stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're just doing this with politics it's the same thing.
Right.
Okay, so...
Things don't change very much, do they?
No. And here they're
They just reinvent a little, but
it just updates, but the same concept. And here they're talking about King Charles, and did you, wait, were you...
King Charles?
Yeah. They're saying the execution of King Charles took place in 1649, And an extensive witch hunt started that year. King Charles II was declared the monarch of Scotland in 1660. Most historians connect with the Great Scottish Witch Hunt of 1661-62. Anyway, interesting how all that kind of plays into the manipulation of the villages and why. Anyway, right. I just think that's interesting.
You play on ignorance and fear.
Yes. Okay, so anyway, somehow, some way, they don't really say how she was caught or what happened. There's like a huge gap in the story. Did you see any of that?
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of gaps. Like they don't say much. It's what I'm gathering, and I think it's going to say here, is she basically turns herself in.
Mm-hmm.
But why? She had a normal life.
Right.
So that's like why she's so, was she a witch? Did these things happen? So the question is, did these things happen or is she psychotic?
Right.
That's the question. So she was a typical 17th century housewife, born Catholic, but later converted to Protestant. We do know that. Married to an elder. And other than being dissatisfied with her husband, she seemed perfectly normal. That is until she's like, oh, she is accused of witchcraft.
Okay.
How did I miss that part?
Somebody in the village is always going to do the accusing, right?
Well, because another thing that I read was saying that, no, she basically just had a normal life and she just kind of was like, I'm a witch.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, did she have a coven?
Yeah. And
okay.
she's going to confess to that.
Okay.
But anyway, this is saying she was accused of witchcraft. Oh, with her coven.
Okay. So they all get in trouble.
In Aldern. Wait, what did I call it? Aldern?
Aldern?
I don't. Oh my God. Forget about me. In Scotland. Here, let's let the computer say it. I said it right before. What's wrong with me? Now you're rubbing off on me. Right here. It's Aldern.
Like in Star Wars?
Aldern. Gowdie was...
Sorry, anybody that is Scottish.
Yeah, we're... Sorry. Don't let us in your country. We can't even speak English, let alone pronounce a Scottish town. Gowdie was a woman. Oh, I already told you this. She had fire red hair and incredible... Oh, they're saying she was really beautiful. She was brought to trial in Morayshire, whatever, and confessed to being a witch on April 13th, 1662. But it's the manner of her confession. Maybe this is what people are talking about when they write about her. There's so many things written. There's books. There's orchestras that like music written about her.
I heard.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
In fact, when I was looking up stuff, I kept running into the orchestra stuff on YouTube.
Oh, did you? Did you listen to it?
I started to.
I didn't listen to it.
Because I turned on the shower, like...
Oh, go to it?
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I didn't listen to it. I was meant to, but I didn't. But it's the manner of her confession and the details therein, because her confession was so detailed.
Right.
According to the court records, Gowdie provided her confession without torture, which if you watch the Blair Witch, if you watch the, Salem witch trial, right. Most of them were, even when torture was like not even supposed to be allowed anymore, but they were still tortured. There's a good possibility that Isobel was starved, but not allowed to sleep. So that's not torture. That's torture.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly had her legs crushed or hobbled prior to.
Okay,
that torture.
Doesn't sound like. I mean, she at this point she's probably like, I'm just going to tell you a story.
Yeah. All right.
Because
fuck it. I'm a witch.
I mean, people have confessed to worse and not actually been guilty due to torture.
She had her legs crushed or hobbled prior to the trial, or as it's known in Republican circles, enhanced interrogation. Her testimony, however,
Did they waterboard her?
Right. was essentially the same on 4 different occasions, which does seem unlikely if it was a confession under duress. At no point did Gowdie dispute that she was indeed a witch. Now, this part I got from Wiki, so I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
Gowdie made 4 confessions over a period of 6 weeks. The first is dated April 13th, 1662. It is uncertain why she came forward. The historian, which this one, again, says she came forward, right? The historian John Callow was authored by Oxford Dictionary of National Biography article, suggests it was because of her involvement in a conspiracy to torment a local minister.
Oh.
Interesting. His name was Harry Forbes, a zealous extremist who had a fear of witchcraft. He was a witness at each of Gowdie's 4 interrogations. Interesting. Accusations against Gowdie would have circulated for a lengthy period before she confessed. She would have been detained in solitary confinement, most probably in a toll booth. What? Throughout the 6-week... What?
Well, that sounds comfortable.
Yeah. Throughout the 6-week time span of her confessions. Her first confession described an encounter with the devil after she arranged to meet him in the kirk at night, naming...
You know what a kirk is?
No.
Right? It's a church.
Oh. Meeting the devil in the church.
And a kirkyard is a churchyard.
Oh. Naming several others.
I got that from
which one?
Outlander.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Well, because
wow.
I've read the books. So.
Oh, okay. So, naming several others who attended, so probably her coven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who attended, including Janet Bradheath and Margaret Brodie. She said she renounced her baptism, and the devil put his mark on her shoulder and then sucked blood from it. Other meetings took place at several locations. For instance, Nairn, and
Narnia?
Insach. Inshach. Let's see how the computer says this one. Listen. Nairn. She touched on having sexual intercourse with the devil, who she described as a very cold, I don't know what these words are. Roch, man. Anyway, it's something that I read, says that when she confessed, when she was describing him, she was speaking of how well endowed he was. More than any other human man ever. Like, a human man would be envious of his girth. Mm-hmm. And everything.
Okay.
His pee-pee is something to be, it's impressive. That's all I know. All right, you go, devil.
All right.
He had forked and cloven feet.
Well, always.
That were we have a picture, Alma. Oh my God. I'm going to snort. All right. Cloven feet that were sometimes covered with shoes or boots. So the devil wears boots or shoes.
Okay.
Details.
He wears boots.
Okay, devil wear boots.
The devil wears
not Prada.
Okay.
Details were given of taking a child's body from the grave and spoiling.
Oh,
okay, so
I don't like that.
So they say, I'm just going to read it exactly how it is instead of put my own. Taking the child from the grave, okay, and spoiling crops together with information about covens and where they danced. She explained that brooms were laid beside her husband.
Oh, there we go with the brooms.
But these brooms were made to like fake the husbands out so they wouldn't know their wives were gone. Okay. Yeah, so he wouldn't notice her absence.
Because they didn't feed their wives, so
I
they didn't know the difference between their wife and a broomstick.
I don't know. Maybe he would recognize the hoo-ha stench. I don't know. The coven ate and drank the best of food at houses they reached by flying through the air. So they're like, she's like telling them how like we would fly through the air on horses and enter via the windows in the most fancy of houses, like kings and queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a really good storyteller.
Yes. They were entertained by Queen of the Fairies, also known as the Queen of Elfame. Do you know that one? Here. Oh, shoot. It won't let me. Do you know what that is? Elfame? Let's see what the computer calls it.
Queen of Elfame.
Elfame. Okay. Queen of Elfame.
I now announce the Queen of Elfame.
Queen of the Fairies. Anyway, they were entertained by her, supposedly, in her home at Downey Hill. Wow. Okay. Which was filled with water bowls. Don't know what that is. That frightened her. Gowdie claimed to have made clay... Wait a minute. Carlene?
Representations of the people? Oops. Like dolls?
Effigies?
Yeah.
Of the Laird of Park's male children.
Not nice.
Yeah. So like voodoo dolls to claim to cause them suffering or death. And she had assumed the form of a jackdaw, which I don't know what that is.
A jackdaw?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's interesting.
And with other members of the coven who had transformed into animals like cats and hares. Mm-hmm. Maybe Shadow's a witch.
She's torturing you.
She is torturing me. So other members of the coven who transformed into animals like cats and hares visited the house of Alexander Cummings. Mm-hmm. Some parts of her testimony, like her description of the king and queen of fairies, has been cut short when the notaries, when they would just write, etc.
etc., etc.,
etc., etc., etc. A frequent occurrence when the material was deemed
etc., etc.
They'd be like, yeah, blah blah blah, irrelevant, or if it didn't comply with
you should start saying that, because usually when you're like, oh, you don't want to know this part,
yeah, I just go etc.,
etc.
I'm gonna start doing that, etc., etc. You guys, yeah, blah blah blah, because I usually go blah blah blah. Our next wine glasses. Our next wine. You are going to town on that fruit. You're going to be so wasted.
Can you hear it in there?
Yes, you're going to be so wasted.
It's so good.
Okay, so alternatively, it may have happened when the scribes were unable to keep up the pace with the volume of information that she was narrating, because she was so in
storyteller.
Yes.
Teller.
To turn into a hare, Gowdie would chant. So this is like the full chant. She would say, at the beginning I gave you parts of the chant. This is the full chant. Okay. She would do like, I shall go into a hare with sorrow, and do it like a witch would do it. I should go into a hare with a sorrow. Anyway.
Yeah, like that. Exactly like that.
With sorrow and psyche and meekle care. And I shall go into the devil's name. Well, I come again to change back, she would say. Hare, God send me care. I am in a hare's likeliness now, but I shall be in a woman's likeliness even now. Anyway,
that sounds ridiculous.
It does sound stupid, but okay. A little over...
Your cross is backwards.
Oh, we didn't like that. A little over 2 weeks later, on May 3rd, 1662, Gowdie's second confession was transcribed. She expanded on details about the coven by providing the nicknames. Ooh, she gonna get some bitches in trouble.
Oh yeah, the nicknames. The nicknames are the best.
Nicknames of its members, and as many of the spirits that waited on them as she could remember.
Do you have the nicknames?
Her own servant spirit, dressed in black, was called Red River. Reaver?
Reaver.
Yeah, Red Reaver. Claims included having the ability to transform into animals with the individual chance used to turn into a cat. Like Alma is acting like a cat right now.
I'm looking. Okay, so I had wine on my thumb, and so I licked it up.
She's like, oh,
Because I'm pulling all the blueberries out of my wine.
don't leave any in there. With the individual chance used to turn into a cat, horse, or various other animals supplied over the duration of all her confessions. Wait, where's the names?
I know, where are the names?
All right,
The
hold on.
names are the best.
It still might be in here. Over the duration of all her confessions, a total of 27 benevolent or malevolent chants were given, more than in any other British witchcraft case. 3 were transcribed twice, but with significant differences. Gowdie testified to the devil handmade elf arrows that were then enhanced by small, roughly spoken elf boys. The devil allocated a number of arrows to each coven member with instructions. They were all fired in his name. No bows were supplied, so the arrows were flicked by thumb. All right.
All right.
The witches were not always accurate when they fired the arrows, but if intended target, whether it was a woman, man, or animal, was touched by the implement, she claimed they would die even if wearing a protective armor. Spells used to inflict illness and torment on Harry Forbes, the minister, were also described. Go ahead. Do you have the names?
No, I'm looking for them right now.
I just can't believe they're not in here. They got to be in here. On the 15th of May, 1662, Gowdie was brought before her interrogators for a third time. Like her first and second confessions, in common with many other Scottish witchcraft testimonies, the transcripts... etc. The transcript begins by detailing her pact with the devil. After she encountered him and agreed to meet him at Aldern Kirk, taking the information she provided previously about the elf arrows a step further, she revealed the names of those killed, expressing regret for the deaths she caused, and supplied names of other coven members with details who they have murdered too. She gave an account of the devil sending her on an errand to Aldern, disguised as a hare. She really likes that, being a rabbit, I guess.
I know, the whole hair thing.
I don't.
It's always a hare.
It is. Why
I mean, they're horny.
I mean, I'd be like, I was a leopard. Her narrative, at least be a badass dog or something.
Yeah, I'd probably be
a wolf.
A wolf, or
yes,
a eagle, or a hawk, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird. A hare. I'm a rabbit. I don't know. Her narrative.
Some Game of Thrones shit.
Yes. Like a crow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her narrative went on to describe how well in that form, as a rabbit, she was chased by a pack of dogs. Well, you should have been a dog then.
I mean, why be a rabbit? You're at the bottom of the chain there.
She escaped
You are the prey.
I mean, yes.
They eat grass.
And they chase rabbits to eat them. Oh, the rabbit eats grass? Yeah. Mm-hmm. She escaped from them by running from house to house until eventually she had the opportunity to utter the chant to transform back into her human self. Okay. She added that sometimes the dogs would be able to bite a witch when she took the form of a hare. Although the dogs could not kill the shapeshifter, the bite marks and scars would still be evident once the human form was reinstated. Descriptions of dining with the devil and his beating of coven members and the responses to... Oh my gosh, okay. All right. Descriptions of dining with the devil and his beating of coven members and the responses to it are recounted. Salacious details concerning sexual relations with the devil, together with broad characteristics of his genitalia, are chronicled. They really like the devil's dick. All right, ladies, next time you go out, just ask if the guy has a dick like a devil.
Right.
Continuing on, I'm just sorry. My mind is just just kidding.
In hell. In a hellish gutter.
All right. Continuing on from the tale of her first testimony about the methods undertaken to kill. Did you find the names? Girl. The methods undertaken to kill any male children of the laird of Park.
The laird.
At first, I thought that was just their weird way of saying Lord, but
It is.
Well, kind of, but it's like, yeah, it's kind of like the Lord of that.
The laird, the Lord, the laird.
The verse the devil had taught them to chant while burning the effigies were relayed. The fourth and final confession, dated May 27th, 1662, is, according to the historian Robert Pitcairn.
Pitcairn?
Karen.
Pitcairn?
I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I love this computer because it can just talk for me. I could have just done this whole story through.
Robert Pitcairn.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Who first reproduced Gowdie's testimonies in 1833, basically to confirm the three previous testimonies, coupled with an attempt to elicit more information about the members of the coven to enable charges to be brought against them. 41 people were arrested as a result of Breadhead and Gowdie's testaments.
Did you just say breadhead?
Breadhead. Not even kidding. So the aftermath of it, the panel of interrogators felt that there was ample evidence to secure a conviction against Gowdie, so they applied to the Privy Council seeking a commission of... Okay, so I'm shocked that they went through judiciary... Boy, I can't talk now. I told you it was going to happen.
Well, did you hear my story?
Yeah. Anyway, a local trial was held, which that wasn't even the trial. That was just confessions. The confessions of her accomplice, Janet Breadhead. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So they only gave the name of two. Remember at the top, they did Janet Breadhead and what was the other one? Oh, man.
One of the nicknames was Over the Dike with It.
What?
Like, yeah. Dyke didn't mean the same thing as it means now. It wasn't derogatory.
No. Okay, well, anyway, Breadhead and... Did you find all the names?
No.
Wait. Some or all of Gowdie's confessions were sent with the request. So basically, man, this Janet chick is just going based on... It doesn't even sound like she's going to get a fair trial. She's going down just based on Isabel's testimony or confessions. According to Wilby, it is likely the confessions were received in Edinburgh around the middle of June 1662. The register of the Privy Council for July contains an entry instructing the Sheriff Principal of Nairn
From Narnia?
and others to arrange local trials for both women. Gowdie's second testimony has a note on the back dated July 10th, 1662, indicating the document had been appraised and the Justice Department found...
The Justice Department?
Yeah, found it germane. A further instruction was added to... Okay, I'm sorry, but I cannot read what this says, so I feel like it's a typo. It's either another language or a typo.
Taxar of this peeper.
Taxar of this peeper? What the fuck? All right.
Hi.
That was instructions added on. On the same document, the Justice Depew. The Justice Depew?
And we digress.
What the fuck, man? We can't even get through this story because it's all so weird. It's getting worse. It's getting harder and harder. Alexander Colville.
That's what he said.
Well, the devil did. It's getting harder and harder, and it's bigger and bigger. We are 15-year-old boys. Alexander Colville added a signed statement beside the witness signatures endorsing the commission. Lord Brodie. Lord Brodie was likely to have been involved in approving the commission. He was, okay, do we really need to know all this? Etc., etc.
Etc., etc.
Etc., etc. This, because it's just giving me all these weird, everything's like underlined in red like it's misspelled. All right, hold on. The Laird of Lytton was a witness at Gowdie's interrogations and visited Brodie at the time. He was probably the person who took the trial application to Edinburgh. The pair prayed together, petitioning against the devil and witchcraft. Good for them. Come on. Okay. On April 10th, 1662, the Privy Council had issued a proclamation prohibiting torture being used as a means of securing confessions from witches, unless it was specifically... That was all... That's why I couldn't read it. Because now as I'm going down here, all this shit's misspelled. I didn't write this. Wikipedia did. And it's all... I'm like, it's all fucking underlined.
Likely story.
Yeah. Securing confessions from witches unless it was specifically authorized by the council, which is misspelled. Mm-hmm. This led to a caution frequently...
Well, they spelled things a lot differently back then, so maybe they're...
I mean, these aren't quotes. Shouldn't that be Z? Authorized.
Is it with an S, though?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's how they spell it in England.
Oh.
Everything's with an S.
Okay, so they're basically April 1662, they're like, no more torture. That's fucked up. Unless it's authorized by the council. This led to caution frequently being appended. All right, in Gowdie and Bredhead's case, the council advised they should be found guilty only if the confessions had been volunteered without torture. Ooh, only if they weren't tortured? They were sane and without a wish to die.
Okay.
But
if you have a thing for the devil's very big dick
yeah.
and broomsticks, I think your sanity is questionable.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Okay. There's no record. And I read this in everything.
Okay.
There is no record of her being executed.
Okay.
Like, there's no record of... Yeah. It's almost like... let the bitch go.
She crazy.
Yeah. Although it is not unusual, as 90% of Scottish cases, the final outcome is unknown due to the local records no longer existing. I don't know, for this being such a famous case...
You would think.
Yeah. Gowdie and Bredhead would have been found guilty at a local trial in mid-July, transported by cart to Gallowhill on the outskirts of Nairn, where they would have been strangled and burned. Prior to 1678, most Scottish witches tried under the Privy Council Commission were convicted and executed. Pitcairn shared the opinion that Gowdie and Bredhead were executed, and most modern-day academics, like historian Brian Levack, agree it would be likely that that was the outcome. The possibility that the pair may have been acquitted on the basis of mental impairment. That, you crazy. That's been put forward by some historians, but I guess most are like, no. Anyway, yeah, they're saying that they may have been freed under some of the other clauses attached to the commission and then permitted to return to quiet ups. Like, just go and be quiet. Don't say anything. Anyway, I want to know what those women, what the other people's names were. Did you ever find it?
No, it was very big. But I do remember on one of the was it a podcast? I think it was a podcast that also has a YouTube.
Oh God, there's so much.
One of them was Pickle in the Wind.
What?
Something to that effect, which I thought was hilarious.
Pickle in the Wind.
Yeah. Like, she was making shit up.
Yeah, definitely.
She was totally making shit up.
Okay, there's a little more.
Okay.
So, the confessions are a blend of fairy and demonic beliefs without parallel in any other witchcraft case. They're more detailed and more inconsistent with much more, like all the folklore and all that, blah, blah, blah. It's all just like witch trials and everything's unclear. But they are like, was it a result of psychosis or, you know, was it attention? Maybe she was just bored.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Maybe she really... I mean, listen, I run into people that do what I do that have some crazy-ass visions that I can't say
Discount
that...
them?
Huh?
You can't discount them?
I can't because I don't want anybody discounting me. I mean, I don't have that. But who am I to say that's not real for them? Although, maybe it is some wacky shit she was putting on her broomstick.
I mean, she was under the influence. She took a dose of vagina... hoochie, whatever.
I will say, what if they didn't know about, when I was watching the witch trial, what if they're like picking berries or herbs and they get stuff and it absorbs in their skin and then they're like seeing the devil with a big dick coming at them and masturbating with a broomstick. And people are like, they're a witch, but really they're just hallucinating from shit that went in their skin.
Okay, was there witnesses to them
And they think it's real.
having relations with a broomstick?
Well, I don't know.
Or that was part of her confession?
No, that's part of her confession, I think.
I think, honestly, she was making shit up.
I
I think she was like, you're going to burn me as a witch.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this
a
the
damn
best
good story.
story you ever heard.
I mean, possibly.
I mean, she just sounds like she has a wild imagination and she just went with it.
This says, it is unclear whether Gowdie's confessions are a result of psychosis, whether she had fallen under suspicion of witchcraft or sought leniency by confessing, which they would sometimes say that was going to happen and then it didn't. Locally, it had been suggested she had may have suffered what?
Ergotism. That's
Huh?
ergot. It's the thing that's in rice. Ergo.
Oh,
Ergot.
like you were saying.
Yeah.
Which can produce hallucinations and other mental instability. God, fuck me. I cannot read this. I need it to be over. At least 2 other confessions from the 16th century, those of Androman and Alison Pearson, reported encounters with the Queen of Elfame. Later in 1670, Jean Weir of Edinburgh also claimed she met the fairy queen. Maybe they did. Maybe they met a fairy queen. I don't know. Gowdie's confessions formed the... What? It's almost like she formed another coven out of her confessions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
She has groups now.
Yeah, exactly.
Consisting of
look at
13 members.
Look at like some of these people that are in prison that have are serial killers.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they have like all this fame.
Yep.
And these weird ass people that like latch themselves onto them.
And this is saying it might have been some dark shamanic aspects contained in the fairy elements. Like, okay, shamans were around then, so maybe they had the wacky stuff to drink back then too. I mean, maybe, I don't know. There could be a lot to this. We weren't there. I don't know.
It just sounds.
They still
it
go
sounds
back to
really out there.
It is really out there. God, this is painful. Gowdie's narratives about
More penises. More penises.
Okay, let me just say. Okay, details may be evidence of a powerless woman, angry and sexually frustrated.
That's what I was just thinking. Like
Yeah.
her simple life with her farmer husband. He just was not
Giving
doing
it to her.
He wasn't giving it to her. He had a
He had a
fucking
little
pencil
peepee.
dick, and she had a wild imagination. She's probably like a very super sexual
Yeah.
person, hypersexual.
Yeah. And she was like, I just been doing it all night long with the devil. Thank you. And you motherfuckers just burn me. I don't care. I'm going down with a smile on my face.
She
And a broomstick in my hoo-ha.
had a relationship with her broomstick.
Yeah.
And she just went with the story.
Oh, this freaked me out just now. It says church and court records show rape as a
Requisite?
a recurrent crime
Oh.
during civil unrest in the mid 16th century.
Oh, yeah.
So Gowdie described her first carnal experience with the devil as being in 1647 when soldiers may have been in the area. So like they're saying maybe she just got raped a lot. And then her fantasy response to the trauma of the rape was to say, it was the devil and he did this and he had a big old cock and blah blah blah. And then the sexual details of it were that. I mean that they were the devil raping her. Mm-hmm. And maybe if she wasn't used to having sex and she was, I don't know, that to me makes sense. Like, because of the trauma, she just created this story to deal with it.
I mean, that isn't...
And this even says, okay, so they're talking about her, she was a skilled storyteller who entertained relatives. So they're even talking about, like, listen, she was so skilled that even when she used her stories and to entertain people with. Right. Anyway,
she was probably very charismatic as a woman too.
Yeah.
Like her stories are probably very compelling.
Well, and they said she was a beautiful woman with that beautiful red hair, so people were already probably attracted to her, physically, and and then she had these great stories that, I mean, that's amazing. That to me makes sense.
I don't know. I am willing to entertain a lot of possibilities and a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
But that's some crazy shit.
This is so crazy. Like, I can just keep, as I'm going down, I'm like, I wish I could have written more, but there's just so much. Okay, I did bus.com, and then there was, Confessions of Isobel. There's that whole, the fiery red hair. That was from the Confessions of Isobel Gowdie, written by The Mask of Reason. Yeah. And then there was the Wikipedia stuff.
So does it sound to you like she was an actual historical person?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of interested. I want to dig more.
Right.
Like, I want to know more about her, but I mean, there really isn't much more about her. Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me. But I do want it. That's not EVP. Even though, I mean, you can see 1, 2, 3. I had 4 different, just right here, 4 different things open. They all say about the same thing because there really isn't much. And then just
it's
about
all
her
based
confession.
On the confession.
Right, which I read to you guys was her confession. It does make you want to know more about her.
Yeah.
She's not stupid, that's
it's
for
interesting.
Sure.
Well, yeah. Life experience is true as they portrayed it. Like,
did she affect history? Yes. I think she did. Is that what you were asking me? Kind of?
I don't know.
I can't remember either.
I lost.
We are a fucking mess tonight.
Oh my God. We're already going on 3 hours.
Yeah, but a lot of...
This is going to be fun.
I'm sorry. You could cut out a big
chunk
chunk
of
mine. Yeah.
I'll be in a hotel room by myself on Monday.
Aww. Oh my God. Yeah, there's some... Look, go to The Secret Lives of Witches on bus.com and just read that alone. That's the sex stuff. Mm-hmm. That right there. Even the pictures are freaky. But
does it come from the male interpretation of witches or actual witchcraft?
Oh no, it comes from I don't know, this historian did shit on it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, this person writes, this is a woman who writes this.
Okay.
And she wrote from writing Greased Up, her name's Kristen Soley.
Okay.
From writing greased up broomsticks to weaving seduction spells, the secret sex lives of witches are the stuff both wet dreams and nightmares are made of. You all can go to sleep with that. Go read that alone in your bed, I don't know, with your broomstick. You're
pull out your magic bullet, grease that sucker up. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
That is crazy.
It's an interesting read, though. Look, they even show. Look.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
A naked woman.
Naked woman riding her broomstick.
Mm-hmm. But of course, it's side saddle.
Yeah, they didn't put her on. Yeah. They were clean
That
about
would
it.
be way too sexual to have her riding her broomstick.
I definitely like it more when I'm not doing so much reading, but this had a lot to it. And I wasn't as educated on it as I'm usually like super
well, now you are.
into mine. Now I am. But even if you ask me, I'm delirious. That's just crazy talk. I'm out of it. What are you doing?
He's like, wait, tongue. I thought you were into this.
Your tongue. Your tongue went right in my... Twice.
She is kissing Apollo on the mouth.
Your tongue went in my mouth twice. You're such a sweet boy.
I don't know. Those were 2 good stories.
They were. I'm glad that you said something about the witches.
Yeah. We might do one more before Halloween. Who knows? Because there was a lot of stories out there.
Yeah. No, he's okay.
I think these were more like based on, historical figures.
Yeah.
He's like, he got nervous.
Yeah.
He's like, what is that?
Away.
I don't want to talk in there.
He's like, I want that tissue right there.
All right, lady. I think we should probably call it a night.
Yep. Time to go. All right. Well, I'm Alma. I knew I was going to throw you off. That was so good. Oh, my God.
And I am not Carlene.
Oh, but she wishes she was.
I do. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. Good night.
Good night.